On this week's episode of the Fake Racers podcast, Joe and Davey talk about a crazy Daytona, as well as looking ahead to the Daytona road course. I mean, enough is said calling Daytona crazy. We're going to do it again this weekend on the road course, and also talk about the USORL Red Bull Cup Series, as well as Davey finally getting to sit behind the wheel of his new Go-Kart that he's driving for a buddy down in Jacksonville. It's a packed episode. It's a long episode. You're going to have a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun recording it. Have a wonderful time listening, and here's Joe and Davey. And welcome to Fake Racers Podcast, episode number 19. Back to our normal format, Davey. How's it feel?
Last week was pretty fun, but it's good to not have the pressure of a live show.
I thought it was fun. We're gonna do it more, I think.
Yeah.
Especially during some races, because I have a feeling we might have caught some people. Whatever.
we can figure it out. We'll do something.
Hey man, maybe I'll get like the race view. I wonder if they still have that, where like has all the virtual cars driving around. I'll get that.
Yeah.
Stream that.
Yeah, they won't get mad at that.
Watch them get mad at that.
Fine.
Bristol's here, fresh off his cameo in Tommy's World this past weekend.
That's my favorite Tommy's World so far.
They're getting better and better each week.
The little zoom in on you when you pulled out the old phone, you're
Slider.
like, this one? This one? It was, I don't know why, but it was just so funny.
He did a great job with that, as he always does. But we have some real racing to talk about finally. Well, not finally. I guess we talked about it a few weeks ago with the Rolex, but
well, we have NASCAR, which is what we do here. We do NASCAR.
We do NASCAR.
Because we are NASCAR, because I am NASCAR.
I am NASCAR.
Shout out to that ad.
That's a pretty good ad.
It's not bad. Some of them are annoying. Some of them are pretty good, but it's what it is.
He's Davey Hazard. I'm Joe Twansky. You can find all the links to our socials in the description below. Make sure you like the JTN, like the video, subscribe to JTN.
Wow. We didn't introduce ourselves. I'm Davey Hazard.
He's Davey Hazard. He's got a Parker Klingerman shirt on, fresh off of not being able to qualify for truck race, unfortunately. That sucked. It was
he lost like a bunch of time over his single, like he was doing single truck runs in practice, and he lost like 0.6.
Yeah,
which would put him in the show. I mean, that's a race-winning truck in my opinion, but alas, it is what it is.
Sam Mayer's in that truck this weekend,
which is kind of lame considering Parker would do better in that truck. But
well, Chevy probably getting a GMS truck. Anyways, we're going to talk about the Daytona 500. That's what we're here to talk about mainly tonight. This episode. I'm recording this episode right after calling a wonderful TMP Cup Series race from Homestead. Davey is up late as he always is, because he's a 20-something, right? That's what we 20-somethings do.
23, yeah.
Yeah. It was mainly like the 20-something. It wasn't like I didn't know how old you were, because I knew you were 23. I knew that. Dr. Pepper, 2311.
Shut up. Was it a good race, Joe? Did you have a good time?
Oh yeah, I had a good time. It was a really good race. They always do a great job. They do a good job of staying clean, unlike some other leagues we broadcast. USORL. I like to throw shade at those boys.
When the USORL has a good race, we have a really good race. But when we have a bad one, it
stinks. It's that's coming from a guy that wins a lot of them.
I am biased. I have fun, but I know the broadcasters don't. We should probably run through the Compainion races, right? First?
No, I want to talk about 500 first.
Okay, well, I'm not going to have much to say on the Compainion races, so let's jump right in the 500 then.
Well, then we'll talk about Compainion races first.
I wasn't available for most of them. I was doing Valentine's Day stuff on Saturday because of the 500, and I was testing my cart Sunday morning. It was a whole thing.
Which we'll talk about, too, on this episode. But Compainion races, Austin Cindric wins. First race for Xfinity Penske. Congratulations, Austin Cindric. You survived. Was really fast. Had a really great car. Was on pole because qualifying got rained out. Which, by the way, the procedure that they have to do qualifying this year, it's poo-poo. They're gonna have the 40 car field this weekend, and guys like Jordan Anderson, and I mean, who has funding and has a good car, most likely over some of these guys that are gonna get in based off of last year's owners' points.
Yeah.
That kind of sucks with the way the format is. So they're probably not going to be able to race until, I think, Circuit of the Americas is the first Xfinity race with practice and qualifying.
God, that sucks. That's really crappy. Like, they should have at least done it for like the first however many races to set owners points for the season.
Just let them qualify. I mean, let them. I don't.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they're already there.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
we're already getting off track tonight. This is gonna be a great episode. It's gonna be a long one. I can feel it.
We're talking directly about the Xfinity series.
Yeah. But speaking of Jordan Anderson, finishes runner-up again by like
that sucks.
a fender to Ben Rhodes, Joe, friend of the show, Joey, his favorite Truck Series driver, because he gave him a sponge by Homestead on pit road.
I cannot believe that that's a real story.
Hey,
that's
it's
an
a story.
actual thing.
That's the thing. Got those dish fishes or whatever, dish fish that he had on the car or in the truck. Anyways, ARCA race was won by Corey Heim, but it was a terrible ARCA race, so we don't have to talk much about it. Felt terrible for Jordan Anderson. Felt really good for Roper in the 04 truck.
It was a good run.
People were kind of upset that he didn't make more of a desperation block, and we're going to talk about desperation blocking, I think, in this episode. But I think part of that was probably they probably don't have very many trucks, so they're probably being a little conservative. He's probably thinking, hey, I don't want to tear this up. Still going to get a really good finish. And that 04 team, they're always top 15 speed for being a single truck small team. So
yeah,
I don't know if you got anything to say about that. But
all I have to say is that Corey Heim's hauler driver passed me on the way back from Valentine's Day dinner. I was in Jacksonville, so I was driving back up home. Also Gracie Trotter's hauler driver passed me, but Corey Heim's hauler driver like damn near ran me off the road.
Ugh.
I almost died.
So not Corey Heim fans, not Venturini Motorsports fans here.
Nope, not a Venturini Motorsports
Just tried
fan
to kill
anymore.
Tried to kill him.
They tried to kill me and my girlfriend.
Oh my goodness. What would we do? Shout out Davey's girlfriend Savannah for always liking all our tweets and stuff, which the rest of you should be doing, but you don't. So
very supportive, and if you don't do that, I don't know what to tell you. You're lower on my list than my girlfriend.
Look, we even got the matching glasses now because Davey's new glasses. Those are new glasses, right? Are those the new ones?
These are still my old ones.
Well, we got matching glasses still.
My new ones just shipped finally after like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I'll have a new look hopefully next week. It'll be great.
We're going off the rails tonight. Oh man.
Yeah. It's okay. A long night. We're gonna start crazy.
I'm a little scared about what we're gonna be talking about because Daytona 500. Let's talk about that.
Jump into it.
Do you want to start at the beginning of the race? Do you want to talk about the end first? What do you want to talk about first?
We can go chronologically here. The beginning of the race was just absolutely silly. I'm sure you agree. But that was an absolutely silly way to start the race. And then the immediate rain and lightning after that literally dampened the whole race. I mean, it dampened the excitement. It dampened the intensity. It killed off that race. 100%. Mm-hmm. Like, that double whammy, if we had one or the other, if it was rain or if it was just the wreck, probably would have been fine.
And Fox, the pre-race show, I know everyone, noon, whatever. Shut up. First off, NASCAR Twitter, again, shut up. There are so many more things that go into this, and I get it's happened 2 years in a row. It's Florida. They could have started the race they could have had the noon start time and it could have rained. You don't know, right?
Yeah.
Is the chance of rain a little bit higher? Yeah, it is. But to the network, to NASCAR, that risk is worth the reward of probably having more people able to watch. Anyways, that over. Shut up about noon. I get it. You want to start at noon. Whatever. It's not happening. So stop.
Noon probably makes sense for a lot of other racetracks on the schedule, but for Daytona, especially this weekend,
all
this weekend
hype
was a little weird. We had a lot of rain run through in general that isn't
normal.
Normal. Like, for some reason, NASCAR comes into town and rain follows. But, as far as February goes, we don't get rain often like that, where it's, all weekend. I mean, we're still getting downpours here in Florida. But, yeah. I would see the noon argument if we were talking about the August race, but we're not. So, I think noon. I think people clamoring for noon are worried about the wrong race and the wrong problems with that race. But anyway, that is what it is.
There's tracks Talladega's a track that doesn't have lights, and it seems like we have rain there every couple of years. Maybe that's when you start earlier than 3, which they do.
Exactly.
But Daytona has lights. It's the biggest race of the year. If you want to try to get as many people to watch. Also, Fox did a fantastic job with their pre-race show.
Mm-hmm. It was very good.
Mike Joy said it, and I think when someone that's affiliated directly with the program says something, we go, oh, you do the eye roll, like. But it was a really good pre-race show. I also watched Ryan McGee. I always call him Marty McGee because Marty and McGee is their little radio show with Marty Snyder and Ryan McGee. They did an E60 about Earnhardt's crash in 01. It was at noon on ESPN, and about all the safety if you have a chance, that is a fantastic watch. It's a completely different tone than like they had Dale Jr. do they had a segment about the senior wreck in 01, 20 years and all that. But it was a completely different tone from that other piece, and that E60 was really, really good. And I know they put a lot of time into it. So if you get a chance to watch it, you have the ESPN app, you should be able to watch it for free. To log in.
I didn't even catch that. I'll have to check it out.
It was really good. So you should check that out. But Fox's pre-race show was fantastic. I mean, they had the Jordan Hamlin Bubba interview. They had they did the interview. They had Tom Rinaldi, who used to work for ESPN, that did all the awesome features on College Game Day. I know you don't care about college football, Davey, but that's okay.
But it was good. It was a recognizable voice, at least. Like I knew I understood.
Exactly. And that was a fantastic piece. I mean, they got Ryan Newman to cry. Like Tom Rinaldi got Ryan Newman to cry. I mean, that's big, right?
Yeah.
So that was really good. They did the uncomfortable questions interview with Emmanuel Achu with Larson, obviously. That one, I think Larson didn't know exactly what he was going into in that interview, but I think they did it. The questions that were posed to him were very good, and they were very important, I think. I don't know if he aced the interview, but I think he did a good job at least trying to protect NASCAR, which I think is probably the whole point of that interview, is to protect NASCAR more so, but I think it did a very good job. But overall, I mean, pre-race was fantastic. I know it's probably not an argument for, against, for people that want the race to start earlier, but they did a really good job.
I think for a race like the Daytona 500, pre-race is part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Pre-race is, I don't care about pre-race for any other race, but pre-race for the Daytona 500 has always been a little bit different. It's always been a little bit more important. It sets the tone for a lot of things, and I think you're totally right to comment on it, because number one, it was really good, and number two, I think it's important, and it's whatever.
Well, especially with them going with this greatest season ever slogan for their coverage. I mean, they had to execute, and they did. And having Chris Myers back too was, I always I hate that they got rid of him from the NASCAR coverage. But having him back was really cool. Anyways, race starts, and we get the lap 3 tribute. Derek Cope wrecks in turn 3, brings out an early yellow. Kind of wish Ty Dillon was in that spot, but whatever.
Yep, yeah, it's fine. It's totally fine.
Big Gaunt Brothers racing fan over there.
Yeah.
The
pain.
I mean, we can talk. We'll talk about charters, I'm sure, sometime this year. Other than we'll talk about them all night. I think we talked about them even on our live show last week.
We did.
It's going to be a topic of conversation, especially as the season goes on and these cars look even worse. What a great way to talk about Rick Ware Racing. Shots fired. Spire had both their cars up in the top 15, so I mean, maybe we should stop.
I did all right.
We should clump them in. Just throwing that out there. They got Justin Haley in the 77 this weekend. Anyways, Derek Cope wrecks early. That brings out an early caution. I think everyone's kind of got a little antsy. And then let's talk about that lap. What was it, 15, 14, whatever lap? 14. Let's talk about the wreck that took out half the field with my least favorite driver. Not really, but kind of. Christopher Bell. And Kyle Busch. Davey, I'm going to ask you, because you're going to be a little more unbiased than me, I think, with this, because I want to blame it all on that 20 car. Caused that wreck, and yeah, let's start there.
It was God. You don't want to. I don't want to call that a racing deal because I think that's being too nice to the people who are involved.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the whole inside line pushing that early, like 4 cars back. Why?
Yeah, I mean,
why, Joe? Why? Tell me why, Joe.
I can't. I can't
Exactly, you
rationalize
can't.
it.
No one can.
As someone that has gone his entire life doing risk reward analysis for the most minor things in everyday life, I don't get it. For you to, if you're underneath a rock, that's the only way you would have missed this because this was all they talked about for like 6 hours.
Yep.
Noon. Christopher Bell got a big push from Kyle Busch and then decided to hit Eric Almirola in the right rear. It's hard to tell if Busch maybe gave him too big of a shove, caused the car to go squirrely. But either way, Bell just kept running with it. And I don't know if he was trying to go 3 wide. Almirola came up. I don't recall the wreck too much because I'm trying to block it out of my memory because it took out, a bunch of heavy hitters. Took out Almirola, who looked really good. The 43 of Eric Jones. I know I'm an Eric Jones fan, but he had gone all the way back from 30-something, and he was up into the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that because
he was pushing. A lot of really fast cars.
That car was involved. Newman was involved, which I know that was just heartbreaking type story, right? Kurt Busch was involved, and it seemed like he was gonna have a good run this year. There are a lot of guys that seem like they're gonna have a good run, and they're not getting off to the start that they wanted. I'm trying to think, what other big names? Did I get them all?
Byron was in it.
Yeah,
he was
Bowman,
fast.
Bowman, Benedetto, Tyler Reddick, but he was able to keep driving around in a mod.
Barely.
Hey, 191, man. That's still faster than the Rick Ware cars. Tyler Reddick was faster than the front end of the car. Jesus Christ. Go ahead.
It kind of sucks that, like, some of those teams stuck around for 6 hours looking at their bent-up race car, only to come back after the red flag and realize that they can't fix it in time, or they run out the caution clock, and then they pack up anyway.
Yeah. It's almost
what can we do about that? Like what can we realistically do about that? And let's ignore. I know the caution clock's a dumb rule. You don't have to tell me.
Damaged vehicle policy. It's not caution clock. Caution clock is that stupid truck 20-minute rule.
Crash clock. Crash
clock.
It's the same thing to me. Crash clock is what I meant. Obviously we got to get rid of the. I think we should get rid of the crash clock because it's a useless rule. It doesn't do anything. All it does is it makes teams make more dangerous. Yeah. It makes the teams make more dangerous decisions, though. Like it's.
Well, and it goes back to that whole cost benefit analysis, right? I mean, that's what it comes down to the noon versus 3 o'clock. That's what it comes down to for this policy. This policy, though, I mean, we're putting drivers at risk. I mean, Tyler Reddick's out there with pretty much a chassis for the, in front of the windshield. I know, like, that all that sheet metal doesn't really do much in the grand scheme of things, but it does.
I mean, if you want to even think about it, it puts the fans at risk too, because
shit flying off the cars. I swore.
Piece of debris can come off the car. Like if a car's still running fine and the fucking rear end's tore up, like
Byron,
what if a piece of the rear? Yeah, exactly. What if that gets into what if that happens on the front stretch? Like
And NASCAR just chooses not to black flag these guys too. Sometimes, like right?
I get it.
But I don't know. It's that cost. It's cost benefit. They think that the cost is too much for the teams to try to go squeeze a couple. I think they should, right? I don't think they should have this rule. It's dumb. It was always a dumb rule. Remember when Matt Kenseth, in that playoff race that one year at Kansas, he had something happen and they just lost track of time and he had to retire because of it, or he went behind the wall because he thought he could but he couldn't. Which that's on them for making that mistake, but also we all knew it was a stupid rule.
Yeah.
Right? That was taking him out of chance to win a championship.
Yep. It's dumb.
But early wrecks, I mean, I put that one on C. Bell. I do. I think he could have done a better job. him and Kyle Busch, right? I think
you think Seabell, you put that on Seabell? You think he could have done a better job?
I think he could have done a better job. I think he could have hit that 10 car a little more square instead of, right rearing him. But I mean, it's plate racing, right? I mean, that's such a terrible thing to say because it's kind of overlooking the problem, which is these guys don't give each other enough respect in these big races.
We're gonna have a good discussion.
We're gonna
Jeff.
have a good discussion.
Good discussion here, leading because really, not a whole lot happened when we went back green.
We single filed out for most of the race. Denny Hamlin, had the best car by a mile. At 23 was fast. 18 was the Gibbs cars were all really fast this year. Hamlin was the fastest, but all the Gibbs cars were really good. Harvick's car was really good. I mean,
Priest was good.
Priest was really good. That was a shame that he wasn't able to at least make a charge at the end. I want to talk about something else though. Because like coming to the stages, stage points are always a big thing, right? They're always a big thing. Because they are important for playoff seeding in the end of it. Why would you wait until the last lap to try to make a move to win the stage if you're starting 5th and you're single file all around the top? Was it just, what do you think? Was it just the lack of, not trusting people around you to go with you? Was it, I mean, because we've had this in our own races before, where we're single file around the bottom and someone goes out to make a move and then no one goes with them.
Yeah, I think it's that because there's less on the line with the stage. Technically, there's less points on the line. There's less incentive to make that move. So you make it when there's not a lot of time for you to get completely fucked over. You make it when there's still maybe time where you can salvage a couple points by not falling all the way to the back or what have you. That's at least where my thinking is. Like if I were to make a move, I would do it late and see where I can get, and if I don't get anywhere, I can probably slide back in the top 10, before we get back around and I lose all my points, I guess. I don't know. These drivers make okay, here's a quick thing. I don't know why these drivers wait so long to make moves. I don't know. Like you asked me that question, I have no idea. I'm guessing. Why do they wait so long to make moves? We sit here and we watch Daytona 500 and Dega races fly by every year. They make the runs too late, or they make the moves too late, and they can't get the runs. Obviously, this package is a little bit different. But even before this package, it blows my mind how we wait so long to get. I mean, these guys are paid to know how these races work. And they sit there and they wait until the last lap, and it becomes either A, a clusterfuck, or B, they stall out the run on the backstretch because guess what? They need the momentum, but they don't have it, so they have to try and make it work. And then they pull out a line, and then they lose 20 spots because they didn't let the momentum build up because they waited until the last fucking lap. Anyway, these guys are paid to do that, and they do it every fucking week. And they sit there and they still make the same mistakes over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, it was they had 7 Chevys lined up, and they just didn't try to make a move.
And that's another thing that I'm sick of is the manufacturer loyalty.
Yeah, it's dumb.
I get it, but
I get
also
the pitting. The pitting I get.
Yeah, that's fine. I get that.
But the whole a few years ago when Chevy was like, you have to push a Chevy.
Oh my god.
They started it. They started it because they saw Stuart Haas that fall before. Their 4 cars, remember, where they were able to gap the field and they're like, oh, we gotta do that. But with 20 cars.
I remember when it was a red flag at a Dega race and they took all the Chevy drivers into a meeting.
Yeah.
I was disgusted. I was so goddamn upset when that happened. Anyway.
But that's a topic for another day. All right, you want to get to the end of this race then? You want to talk about
Get to the end of this race.
All right.
You start us off, Joe. You start us off.
I'm gonna take you through those last 5 laps.
Okay.
We're running single file. They keep talking. Clint Boyer, Jeff Gordon. Clint Boyer did a really good job this week, I think, of at least building some faith, and he'll be able to do this announcing job.
I want to come back to Clint Boyer, actually.
Okay, we'll talk about that at the end. 5 laps to go. They're talking, oh, someone's got to make a move, and the guys towards the back, one guy will drop out of line, see if he can do the thing where he pulls the guy back, which you executed in a race we did last night, to perfection. But these guys were, they were doing that, and, nothing. And then you start seeing Keselowski, 3 laps to go. He did it perfect, right? He stayed way back off of Harvick, coming into 3 on the 3 to go lap. Then the 2 to go lap, had that whole head of steam coming off of 2, was able to make the pass on Harvick, took McDowell with him, and they both got by that 4. They got back in line pretty much, and it was single file again. White flag, right? Logano's out front. Big brain Joey Logano out front with TJ Majors up on the roof. Which TJ's a really good spotter, because in the end, he's not the guy behind the wheel of the race car, and Logano knows what... we'll get there. Keselowski doing the same thing, right? Austin Dillon made a move. I think he had Prisco with him. Someone went with him. Keselowski stuck with McDowell down the back straightaway instead of trying to go in front of Dillon until going into turn 3, where they both got low, because I think McDowell had a run on Keselowski. I can't pull it through my head. I was so terrified after this next part. Going into turn 3... Keselowski has a run low. McDowell's all over his back bumper. It's hard to tell exactly. I don't remember if they showed an overhead shot of what happened, which would have been extremely helpful in this situation, because it was extremely helpful with the lap 14 wreck that is very similar. Just a little different, right? Logano's about, he's middle of the track. He comes down. Brad's getting a push. It's hard to tell if the 2 goes up. And the 22 is coming down to make a block, right? A bad block. Mm-hmm. And big wreck, big fireball. I am shaking because first off, I am pissed off that my driver didn't win, right?
Yep.
That's where I start. And then I see the big fireball. And I'm like, oh shit, somebody's hurt. Because that same wreck happens last year where a car goes up and gets T-boned right in the door, in the driver's door. They were going just as fast. It was 18 a Bush that got hit. Keselowski was up on the roof. Cindric right in the driver's door of Bush's car.
Yeah, very violent, very
big
brutal,
fireball.
It's just a very violent crash.
And they're like, "Oh, Michael McDowell's won. We think Michael McDowell's won," and I'm just sitting there like gutted because one, Keselowski didn't win and he got fucked over by a teammate. Kind of. We'll talk about it. And also, I'm thinking there's no way he's getting out of this car, right? And that's the next thing. I see Kyle Busch, and I'm like, oh shit, there's no way Kyle's getting out of his car either. And he's already had that bad wreck at Daytona, right? Where he broke both of his legs, and I'm thinking he's not getting out of his car either. See Keselowski gets out of his car. There's the video going around of him absolutely yeeting his helmet at the car, which I think that's promotion. That's promotional material right there.
Yeah.
That should, if you never watched Daytona 500, if you never watched NASCAR, you never watch racing in general, when it's one of these big marquee events, Daytona 500, 24 Hours of Le Mans, Indy 500, Monaco Grand Prix, the big crown jewel races in all of motorsports, not just, NASCAR, IndyCar, whatever. Mm-hmm. That sums up the emotions, right? I was scared. I was scared someone was dead, Davey. We can start there. We can talk about the move.
It really is like okay, we can start with the move, I guess, where, I think it's really fair to, I think it's fair to say that not all of that wreck was on Joey Logano. Obviously, there's a million factors involved here. The 2's getting a big push with huge closing rate on the 22, and McDowell's not letting off. Brad's not going to give up, and Joey Logano being Joey Logano he's gonna
make that block.
He's gonna cause the crash.
Yeah, he's gonna do that. Yep.
It doesn't matter if he's clear or not. He's going left, and he's gonna get to the apron. Whether he gets to the apron sideways or whether he gets to the apron in front of the nose of the 2 car, it doesn't matter. He's gonna turn left, and that's where my problem is, right? That's my problem, is because it doesn't matter if Joey Logano is clear or not. He was going to turn left anyway.
Because he wasn't going to win if he doesn't turn left. He's at least got a shot, right?
And that's a shot, and you know, whatever, that is what it is. But I think that's bullshit. I think that's shitty. I think that's really fucking disrespectful to a lot of drivers who lost their lives driving in this race. And I think it shows a severe lack of accountability by the drivers today over, you know, the people that they're racing against and the moves that they're making. You can sit here and talk to me and tell me all day about how, oh well, Joey Logano's gonna block. What? Joey Logano. Joey Logano blocks. Yeah, it's Joey Logano's fault. Ha ha, meme. Like you can sit there and you can like be mad about the fact that Joey Logano is over aggressive in these events and accidents like this. You can sit there and say that, oh well, he's just trying to win the race. He's just trying. It's the end of the Daytona 500. Of course he's gonna block. Well,
it's the package's fault.
He just about fucking killed 2 people. What? The tune's gonna fucking change when we do kill someone. When we have to bury a driver or a fan because someone makes a smooth brain block going into the tri-oval, we're lucky no one's gotten into the crowd yet. We've had cars with the height to get in there, just not the trajectory. There's no accountability on in some of these drivers' minds. There's no accountability of the moves that they're making. I don't care how many times you sit there and tell me it's the end of Daytona 500. He can just as quickly make the decision to regain, not do the stupid block that's not going to work. If he drops back to 5th, he drops back to 5th. He can still have a shot off of 4 with the closing rate.
Oh, we saw that in the truck race too.
He can just as quickly make that decision as he can to throw a hopeless block.
Yeah, I think
I don't get it, and I just it just drives me nuts that we're gonna have to kill a driver for drivers to understand that you can still get hurt.
Well, and there's a difference between the wreck that happened this year and the wreck that happened with, right? In a lot of ways, and it's not to say that it's okay that it happened the way it did, but Newman's wreck was a freak accident, right? You have a car that gets turned around hard into the wall. The wall does its job, right? The soft wall does its job. The safe barrier does its job. You can't fault Ryan Blaney for that. Newman was throwing blocks. Blaney had momentum. You're coming to the checkered flag, right? It wasn't that, and those blocks were a lot better than this one because again, Keselowski had his nose underneath. The way the Logano car turns and Keselowski's car continues to follow it means that
was quarter panel.
Right.
That was quarter panel.
That was enough to where you weren't going to be clear. There's a difference here, right? There's a difference between the Newman wreck because the Newman wreck happens and that car hits the wall and then it lifts because of the banking there. You know, I haven't looked at data. I haven't looked at whatever. My opinion.
Physics happens. The car takes a big enough hit. Right. I'm sure that some part of the car was compromised enough to let the air get under the car.
Exactly. He hits the wall. LaJoie comes, impact, and that's why that wreck was so bad, and that's why we all thought Ryan Newman was dead a year ago, right? This wreck's different. This wreck's different for a lot of reasons. This wreck is the result of what you can call a bad block. This wreck is a result of crazy runs that you get with the package that they're currently running. This wreck's a result of, I mean, this wreck has a lot of ways that it can be prevented, and I think what your point is that the easiest way to prevent it was to show a little more respect for your fellow drivers, not throw that block. Am I getting the gist of what you were saying? A little more respect.
I know it's hard to look at. I know it's hard to look at your favorite driver who has built a reputation for being this reputation for being the racer guy and the guy who is going to win at all costs. You know, that's so noble, and it's really good for media hype. It's not very good for
driver
finishing
safety.
out these races and not killing someone.
Yeah. My big thing is, I mean, you would think there'd be a little more respect there with a teammate. This is something like Logano pushed Keselowski through a wreck last year in the 500. I mean, everyone points at that 2014 Talladega race where Logano was a lap down and was blocking for him. Logano was a lap down blocking for the race that he had been. We're a different Denny Hamlin was a lap down in the clash and pushed his teammate.
Also, people who are bringing that up, fuck that. That's stupid.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
That was stupid.
What? It doesn't even matter.
7 years ago?
None of that even matters.
Yeah. Plus Logano's won a 500, right? I mean, and not to say you shouldn't want to win another one, not to say, but there's a inherent lack of respect for driver safety with
that. And again, like you're hitting my point on the head. You're absolutely getting it right. And again, my problem isn't Joey. My problem isn't that Joey Logano wants to win the race. It's that he's willing,
he's willing to do something like that.
I would take a poll of every NASCAR fan who's watched 100 races in the past, I don't know, 4 years, right? If they've watched over 100 races, I would take a poll and I would ask them, coming into the white flag lap, Joey Logano leading, do you think there's going to be a wreck to finish this race? Every single one of them would say yes. Because we know Joey Logano isn't going to give it up without causing a wreck. And if there's going to be a wreck, he's going to block.
That's why
whether he's clear or not, he is going to block. And that is my fucking issue, is that he has no fucking respect for other drivers' position around him. And there are other drivers who do this. I'm not saying it's just a Joey Logano problem, but Joey Logano is notorious for it. I'm not going to sit here and say that every single wreck that people meme on him about is his fault. I think that's asinine. I think that's dumb. But more often than not, he's at the root of these accidents. And why? Because he's willing to make that dumb block regardless of if it's going to work or not. He does it anyway because there's a 0.01% chance the other driver might back out of it or something. Yeah. Like, I don't understand what the reasoning is, but he will do it anyway. And he will shove his car there and he will cause a wreck 9.9 times out of 10. And it drives me fucking nuts.
Well, the other thing with Logano and the way he drives these super speedways is he doesn't really care if it's not going to benefit him. You've seen that, right? When the Fords are all lined up, he's the first guy to try to make moves. Last year, McDowell, or 2 years ago, McDowell didn't try to push him and tried to pass him, and he got all pissed because, we're Ford teammates, and McDowell was like, we're going to talk about in a minute here. We got to talk about that eventually. But there's still so much more with this wreck. But Logano did that. He said, McDowell wasn't a good teammate. Didn't try to help me. Well, that's why people don't try to help you win, Joey Logano, because you're out here trying to win at all costs, and they know you're not gonna show them the respect. I don't know if that's I mean, we can talk about spotting too, right? I mean, a guy like TJ Majors, I'm thinking, is probably a little more hands off there at the end. Saying, 2's got to run, 34's with 3, they're blocking the 3 on the bottom. That type of stuff, but I mean, we can go and blame spotters if we want. Wreck like that happens where it's that bad. Spotter's definitely not calling him clear when he makes that block, right?
No.
And all that you can meme about TJ Majors too if you want. Now he's not Dale Jr. spotter, but Junior wasn't wrecking the field like Logano has. Oh, hey.
And I want to also go back, not go back on anything, but I want to say, I'm not a Joey Logano hater. I like Joey is a perfectly fine race car driver. He's very talented and he's very fast. I know you don't have that same luxury to be as unbiased because he's kind of been a shit teammate to Brad.
Yeah.
But there's a reason there. But I don't even mind Joey that much, but he's just at the root of all of these accidents so often that it's I seriously, I look at his car leading a plate race at the end, and there's gonna be a wreck. There's gonna be there's not many other drivers that I look at during a plate race when they're leading at the end, and I can be like, that is going to be an accident. Yeah. We are going to end this race under yellow because of that car, or that car is going to be at the root of that.
Well, and the other thing too, and this isn't an attack on Joey Logano the person or. But when it comes to these super speedways, I don't know if it's, if he does have a lack of respect for other guys. I think he's probably his whole career has had to be the fighter, right? I think people, when you're a Cup Series driver at 18, you kind of have to, you're cut from a different cloth.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's also part of it, right? He's kind of, no one's, people have been like, oh, you're so privileged, you're so, and he's had to fight, right? He gets kicked out of the Gibbs car and he has to fight. He gets this opportunity at Penske and it's skyrocketed. Is that because Joey Logano's Penske's better than Gibbs? No, probably not. Probably Joey Logano's matured and realized he's got to take what he wants. It's just when it comes to these plate races, he's a little stupid with that take.
It becomes a little more weaponized at the super speedway races. I mean, seriously, Joey Logano the person seems absolutely fine, and I like Joey Logano when he's racing anywhere else. It's like it's totally fine. He's just an aggressive race car driver anywhere else. But you go to the super speedways, and it's like you put someone on, it's 3 sizes too small.
Yeah, and
it's absurd.
I mean, at the end of the day, people are gonna say, "Well, that's the package we got." And yeah.
I will go off on that. I will not stand for that bullshit. I am over blaming everything but the fucking drivers about incidents.
Yeah.
I could go on and on about IndyCar and Pocono and IndyCar and Indy and how those are exactly the same, but Pocono had the bad luck, so now Pocono's an unsafe track. Bullshit. Same deal here. It's not. The package has fast closing rates. That is inherently going to be.
It's more difficult for the drivers. It gives them more of a challenge, honestly, but you're seeing that with more of a challenge there, and then they seem to also be more willing to do stupid shit, right? They're not adjusting the way they drive to the harder challenge.
Yeah, it's you would think Ryan Newman almost dying last year would be a wake up call, and then he posts that. It was a fantastic video. It was such a fucking relief when he was seen walking out of the hospital with his daughters in hand, but at the same time, like, you just knew that was all the concerns were erased in that moment. Like, you'll be fine.
Well, bringing up Newman, big thing here. I don't know how much you want to talk about it, but I've kind of like I said, I thought I just saw someone die. I didn't watch the 500 last year. I was at a U of M hockey game against Michigan State, so I was at the hockey game because the rain got rained on. The race got rained on. The rain got rained on.
I knew what you meant, but I caught it too. Yeah.
So I didn't see the Newman wreck live, so I didn't go through all those emotions like everybody. I mean, I saw it when I got back in the car because I got a phone call from my mom because I'm a big Ryan Newman fan here. And got my Ryan Newman 2002 rookie lamp. I love NASCAR merch. But I was sure someone was going to be hurt, not able to, and they both get out of their cars. Like you said, we can talk about safety improvements all day. There was a big light shown on, shined a lot of light on safety and all the innovations since the Earnhardt wreck in 01. No one's died since then. Thought someone died last year, but we forgot because walked out of the hospital okay, and now we're gonna forget about this one. Got out of the cars, even though if you look at that 2 car, I still have no idea.
I mean, you could tell Kyle was in pain.
Oh yeah,
that official was like looking around like he was talking to Kyle and he was kind of like, anyone?
One of them has to have a concussion. Kyle probably has a concussion.
Yeah, I really hope they take that seriously too. I hope he gets checked up.
Oh, they do.
Like regularly.
They do.
Like, well, I mean, like regularly, like throughout the week as well, because we do not need to lose a driver. We had this. And there's a really good video. I don't know if you've ever saw the video. It's called 3 Before February on YouTube by Brock Beard. Fantastic video. We do not need that again.
Yep.
We do not need Ryan Newman nearly dying. We do not need a concussion-riddled Kyle Busch and/or Brad Keselowski, and we do not need any more warning signs to let us know that there's a problem somewhere.
Yep.
There's something going on with these super speedway races that we need to figure out. Whether you agree with me about the driver stuff or not, it's fucked. It's bad, and we're seriously gonna hurt someone.
Yeah,
we're gonna bury a driver or a fan before we know it. It's just gonna happen. Like, it's pure luck that it hasn't happened yet. And what can you do? Because you can't predict everything. But
hey man, I'm gonna do my best to go to safety. After last night, that's always been to be on a race team. engineering degree to try to get into R&D of safety device, not because there's a lot of freaking work, and that's more important work than making a race car go fast, honestly, in my opinion.
That will never be done. Like, that will never be a completed.
Nope, we're never gonna make it 100% safe, and these drivers know that. But it just sucks when one driver seems to not care. And even like Brad's post-race interview, dude was so salty. I love Brad, man.
He was pissed. He's understandably so.
He's getting back to like how he was earlier on in his career. He had a couple years where I think he was trying to like mellow it out because people didn't like it, and now he's kind of going back to it with like the whole next time someone throws a bad block, I'm gonna wreck them. Then he wrecked Byron because Byron did it to him, and
William Byron fucked around and found out.
Yeah.
Right now. This podcast is very R-rated, by the way.
Yeah, this one, that race was just crazy. Hopefully you're not under the age of, like... What's a good age now? Like, I feel like kids know all these bad words.
So, if you're not, like, 16 or 17, just don't let your parents know that you listen to it, if they care.
But, you know, we don't actually put language warnings. I should probably do that. It's marked explicit on Spotify, so that's and Apple Music. I think we're on Apple Music now. That's a good little plug.
We're on Google Podcasts and stuff, and
maybe I don't know about that one.
We are.
Oh, let's go.
I had a friend Google it. They Googled our podcast, and then it showed up on Google Podcasts. We're there.
But yeah, I mean, Brad's comments after the race, you could see he was kind of biting his tongue about Logano. McDowell also, you know, kind of just pushed him through the wreck, which, you know, he's got to do in that situation, right? He's not the one that threw the awful block. But let's talk about that, because now I think we've talked about the ending of this race for like 20 minutes now. We got to probably talk about the winner. Michael McDowell wins his first career race. Most known for obviously that Texas wreck. Wins his first race with a crazy wreck. Was really worried they were going to try to give it to Chase. When I saw that, I was waiting.
I knew. I was like, the fix is in, boys. I saw that splitter was cracked. I was like, something's gonna happen.
But
something's gonna happen. Did you see the cracked splitter on that car?
On the 34.
Or not splitter. Spoiler.
On the 34.
Yeah.
Oh man, no, I didn't. Oh
boy. It has a cracked spoiler on like the right side of the spoiler. It's like bent back and down.
I wonder if it was from that wreck though. I mean, he barely got. They probably just said, "Oh, it was right." Plus, if they would have took that away from him, oh man, there would have been that would not have been good.
Apparently, he was in tech for a little bit. Like I saw a tweet from Jeff Gluck. He was asked like, "How's tech going?" And they just said it was ongoing. And so that was probably what that was them looking at that, making sure it wasn't designed to break or some silly stuff.
Yeah, you know, Front Row Motorsports obviously big time R&D, but make a spoiler that'll break on purpose.
You know, I'm really happy for Front Row Motorsports. They won themselves a lot of money.
Yeah,
that's a high paying race to win.
After the whole Bristol thing with McDowell intent wrecking Bubba, I kind of just, I'm kind of like, okay, he's just a dude.
Yep.
I'm not gonna cheer for him, and then he wins the race, and I'm kind of like, I don't know. Even this morning, I woke up angry. Man. I was like, I'm still so gutted over it because my guys, you know, every single year it seems like engine fails or he gets wrecked by a teammate or bonehead move by ex-bonehead driver. Anyways, Michael McDowell wins. I don't want to get onto that too much because we're running with this one. McDowell wins 34. They're in the playoffs. That's a big thing. Congratulations. I saw, I had a couple friends say congratulations to Michael McDowell for his 16th place points finish this year, which I think is, I mean, yes and no. I mean, hey, he got okay speed sometimes. He's not going to finish better than that, but it's a big win for the team. It's a big win for him, especially because he has the, you know, someone tweeted it, best average finish in the last 10 Daytona races of 11.1, which it makes sense because that 34 car every year he's been in it has been up front at the end of these races. So, I mean, well, deserved win. Kind of wish it wasn't the way it happened, right? I think, again, kind of pushed the 2 car through there, but that's okay. Underdog wins, Davey. How's that? That's the greatest season ever, right? Yeah, woo!
I mean, it's exciting, it's cool, it's fine and dandy, but we're gonna, it's a story, and it's gonna be a story, and then we'll come along to the Daytona Road Course next week, and it'll be all about something else. So,
Well,
at the end of the day, like it's a great win, and congrats to Michael McDowell. It's been a long time coming from being the guy who
is known for
barrel rolled at Texas
for
to the
proving
guy
that
who
this
barrel rolled at Texas, but now has a Daytona 500 trophy.
from being the guy that was known as, hey, look, the COT works. Guy,
Yeah,
pretty much,
yeah,
right?
the proven COT test dummy who won a Daytona 500. But I mean, it's cool. I'm not a big I'm not a Michael McDowell fan. I kind of lost some of that, like, underdog driver stuff when he dumped Bubba in the Open.
Yeah,
Which
exactly.
a lot of people did, but it is what it is. I like Bubba, so I was like, okay, Michael McDowell, meh. I mean, like I said, really good for front row. Really good for front row. I mean, the Daytona 500 is a really high-paying race. That's really great for
that's
team.
gonna probably pay for the team. That's probably like most of their budget for the rest of the year.
It's fucking true, yeah.
And now they can, with that 34 car, they can kind of just coast and maybe try to work on making their program better. Maybe try to make a run into the round of 12. Because I think that's possible for them if they do everything right.
I mean, if they really buckled down and worked on only improving the car,
yeah.
If that was what that cash injection can do, I'd say it's possible. I don't think it's likely.
Yeah, well,
it is really unlikely.
It's like when Allmendinger won that, and Almirola won in 2014, and they got in. It was like, well, are these guys really going to make it out of this first round? And lo and behold, they did. Right?
Yeah, but those guys probably had a better shot than I think McDowell does, though.
It may be Allmendinger, but I don't think as much. Yeah, I don't know. This Smithfield money, man, is weird. Feel bad for Almirola because it seemed like he had a really good car. Derek Almirola, Daddy Almirola. But congrats to Michael McDowell. I feel like we should talk more about it. I feel bad about not talking more about it, but you've probably seen so many interviews, so much post-race coverage. Oh, underdog wins the Daytona 500. I don't think you need that from us.
No, yeah, it's not what we do.
Not what we do. But congrats to Michael McDowell, front row. Loves for getting. They've been a big-time sponsor, supporter for a while now, so that's good to see them get a victory.
Yeah, that's another good point. See a long-time sponsor.
And a big sponsor. A big sponsor, right? I mean, that's a consumer sponsor. Loves travel centers, so
they're on the car a lot too.
So with them and Speedco, that's good for them.
Hey Joe.
Yeah.
We're going road course racing next week.
We are. Look at Davey getting the transitions on, so I stopped babbling. Yeah, we're going Daytona road course racing this weekend, Davey. Clash was really good compared to, at least TV-wise, compared to the August road course race last year. They're because they got rid of the spoiler, right? They got rid of the big-ass spoiler. Thanks, Dale Jr., for that. That will never die.
Spoiler. That was really funny. That was good stuff.
Welcome. Was that on NBC, or was that a... Yeah, okay, so that was the race. That wasn't just the...
Yep.
Because I thought that was practice for some reason. But yeah, that makes more sense. It was a race.
He called it a giant-ass spoiler. Go ahead, anyway.
Daytona road course. A lot of guys have experience now from the Clash. Like, good experience, right? Because I think this chopping the spoiler off is a big difference. Especially, I think we noticed it more in that front stretch chicane than we did necessarily in the back stretch. I'm assuming they haven't made any changes to the bus stop on the back. So I'm sure we're going to have a dirt track out there because, again, hey, Davey, what were you talking about the drivers earlier? Causing all the problems? That was my big issue with the Clash. And then, like, we need a caution. There's dirt all over the track. Well, maybe if you didn't run through the fucking dirt every time coming out of the bus stop, there wouldn't be dirt all over the track, driver. I mean, right? I'm not saying anything wrong.
You're right. It's just funny. It's just funny.
Allmendinger is going to be in this race, in the Cup race, 16.
He's going to have a good run. I think he sets that car on the top 10 easily.
Ty Dillon's going to be in the race because there's only 40 cars entered, so he'll be in there. Chase Elliott, Martin Truex, those are obviously going to be your two favorites. They were the best, or at least Truex was the best in the Clash. We'll have to see if it's sunny or if it's overcast. That's going to be a big different if it rains. Got rain tires.
But Wallace is having a good run at the end of the
August
last
last
year's,
year, yeah.
the August one. Obviously, the weather's going to change that track a lot, especially with all the rain the track's been getting. It's going to be super green.
Yeah. I also think that 23 car, Ty Dillon, not the most prolific road course racer. But that 23 seemed like they struggled in the Clash too. I'm a little worried, but they're coming off a really good speed weeks, I think, for a brand new team. Same with we didn't talk about Juarez and Trackhouse, but they had a really good car for the 500 too, it seemed, and
it's true.
I wouldn't be surprised if that 99 is really good because it seems like they're really invested. Like Justin Marks is really invested in making this Trackhouse thing work. What else can we talk? Possibility of rain's gonna be fun, right? Rain tires.
Yep. It would be pretty cool to see some rain. It would actually. I actually think rain in this track would go very well with the Cup cars. I think it'll mix if it does rain. It won't be like the Roval where it's kind of a shit show.
where you don't have any drainage coming back onto the oval and it's just a big pool like the Xfinity race. That was bad. The Xfinity cars raced in the rain, and so did the ARCA cars in August too. So, another thing to see. Cindric's not in this race. I figured Cindric would be in it, but they decided to enter the 33 car. So, but 40 cars entered. 40 cars make the field. Xfinity and trucks both have more than 40 entered, so they're going to send people home. Like we talked about earlier, Jordan Anderson's probably not going to be in. The 03 car's probably not going to be in for our motorsports because they didn't make the Daytona 500 or Daytona 5. The Beef, it's What's for Dinner 300.
There you go.
I love that. That name was great. Beef 300.
Pretty good. It felt like NASCAR was fun again for a second. It was pretty cool.
Any ideas on who's gonna win? Go trucks up, and Truck Xfinity Cup.
Trucks. Sheldon Creed was for some reason really fast there.
Trophy
in
Trucks.
August. I watched
Trophy
that.
Trucks. Sorry, that's what he raced before.
Okay, but that's
why.
Trophy Trucks doesn't really translate to that, but
it's still road course.
Yeah.
Hey, more experience than most of those truck guys have on a road course.
This is fair. I accept this. So I'm gonna say Sheldon Creed because he was really fast there in August. Parker Kligerman would have been a good shout if he was in the truck, which he's not.
Oh, Sam Mayer. Sorry.
I know.
Which they might not even be in the race.
Sam Mayer's not gonna do well. Xfinity, it's hard to bet against Austin Cindric given his competition, but we'll see. We'll see.
Allmendinger should be starting up front too.
Allmendinger's gonna be in the race. We'll see.
Justin Allgaier.
Pretty good. Okay.
I mean, he'll be like that top 5 guy all day.
He'll be 5th. He'll be up. I mean, Justin Allgaier is a perfectly fine road course racer. I just Austin Cindric and that Penske team have something, and AJ Allmendinger is phenomenal. I think it'll be those two duking it out.
What about Jeb? Think Jeb's gonna be up there? 10 car. Come on, Jeb.
I don't know how he is on the road courses. Actually, I actually quite like Jeb Burton, but I don't know how he is on the road courses. I almost said Jeb Bush.
Ugh,
just because of memes, I almost said Jeb Bush.
Jeb. And then Cup.
Cup. It's hard to bet against Chase Elliott. It's really hard to bet against Chase Elliott. He was really fast there in the Clash. He'll be fast there again. It'll be hard to beat him.
Wasn't fast until he got to the front.
He got to the front.
And then even then he got passed.
Yeah, but I mean, you make a good point in that Ryan Blaney is the ultimate choke artist and couldn't drive away after running him down from 3 seconds back. But no big deal.
Man.
I'm sticking with Chase Elliott. I think Chase Elliott's going to be fast. I think Denny Hamlin might have a good shout because Denny Hamlin's just
good at Daytona.
He's just good at Daytona. He wasn't fantastic. I think he wasn't quite great in August, but
he led
was
a lot.
Deep in the Clash.
Yeah, I think track positions is a bigger thing than they make it out to be on this track too.
Just
because of the way that that infield's, it's not that the infield's technical, it's just that it's narrow. Really only go 2 and then maybe 3 some of it, but not not really.
Yeah.
Just sucks that we're replacing Auto Club with this road. Auto Club's a good track. So this is gonna suck. I'm gonna agree with you on the trucks. I think Brett Moffitt will have a shot, and I think he'll probably, if he's up there like he was with Creed in August, I think he'll have a little more motivation to just move Creed instead of trying to pass him clean. Now that they're not teammates, and especially because it seems like that was an ugly divorce between Moffitt and GMS. And plus that would lock him into the playoffs at the end of the year, and kind of race until late last year. He even won a race. I don't even remember if he won a race last year. He had to have. Xfinity, I'm gonna go with Allmendinger because I don't think Cindric can win the 2 in a row, even though I think last year he won like 3 or 4 in a row. I think it's gonna be really hard for Cindric to win again.
Mm-hmm.
I think Allmendinger's probably gonna be again a little more aggressive now that he's running full time for points too, and that team I'm assuming probably needs sponsorship. What's the best way to get sponsorship, Davey? In theory, besides have a rich father or mother.
I was gonna say, what kind of answer are we looking for? Winning races and being up front and all that fun jazz.
And having a good social media presence. Go follow Mr. Tickles on. That's his cat.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That was probably really weird for you then.
I was like, what the fuck Joe has lost his rocker. I'm gonna have to take the show over quicker than I thought.
Dude, it's been late. I've been broadcasting since like 8:45. It's almost
it's midnight. It is almost February 16th.
Let's go.
Oh man,
this will hopefully come out on February 16th. We'll see. But anyways, what did I say? Allmendinger for Xfinity, because also I don't want to, even though I'm a Penske guy.
Get on with it, Joe. Let's move along. Come on, buddy.
Cup Series. I'm gonna go with Truex because that 19 was so quick. They were so quick, and I think James Small.
But he wrecked.
He did, but he also wrecked on the dirt, and Truex doesn't like driving on dirt. I don't know. I don't want him to win, Davey, but I think he's gonna
suck and bad.
But I just don't want Chase to win another. Sick and tired of everyone being like, "Well, Chase don't got the road course."
Best road course driver, second off the pace from Jimmy in the.
Tell me why I'm wrong in the description or comments. Interact with us here on JTM. Make sure you go like our Twitter and yell at me because I'm the one that runs everything. Yell at me on the Twitter about why I'm wrong. Yell at Davey.
Joe, you want to know something crazy?
Yeah.
When I joined you in the booth on Saturday, it was in a different order than we've been used to.
Was it?
I changed it up. Yeah. Well, I changed it up. I wasn't the last one in the booth.
Yeah. Look at him doing these transitions. Davey, USORL Atlanta throwback race. We threw it back to when you weren't winning every single race. You finished second. Steven Merzlak, your teammate, won. Mikey had a really good finish. Finished fourth. We talked to him too. But
happy for my guys. Oh man.
Talk to us about it. I mean, it was a fun experience for us up in the booth. Throwback night. Go buy your JTN throwback merch now on the JTN merch store. It's fantastic. I got to buy a hoodie or a t-shirt. Probably more likely a t-shirt. Anyways, anything extra you want to take us through with that race? I mean, crazy race.
It was chaotic. It was slippery. It was everyone kind of stunk a little bit, and I flipped over and finished second. And that's all you need to know. Congrats to Steven Merzlak and Michael Morado for pulling out some big runs when they needed them.
You didn't just flip over and finish second. You got pushed like all the way down the back straightaway on your roof and finished second.
Yeah. I did a sick grind.
Like Tommy in Tommy's World.
And the win streak ended. Yeah, Tommy did some sick grinds too. Go watch Tommy's World. Anyway, the win streak ended. It was fun while it lasted. It was great. This is rearing up to be one of my better sim racing seasons, so we're heading there.
Well, and you guys head to Indianapolis this weekend. We won't be on the call for that one. Next time we're on the call is when we're at Bristol, in a few weeks' time, and we'll have a new Tommy's World. Then we'll have a race broadcast. Then check it out again. Like and subscribe everything on JTN because that's how you get notified when we go live for broadcast. Davey. You also did karting testing this weekend. I said we're going to try to, on here, keep up with all that. How'd the tests go? First test with the new team.
Well, it was in doubts of happening, Joe. It was a rainy Sunday morning. It was a very damp track when we arrived in the morning. We decided to go ahead and shake it down anyway. Because I hadn't even sat in that cart. As far as go-karts that I'm trying to drive competitively and fast, that's the second one I will have ever sit in since 2013. So I needed to get at least some level of confidence in it, which I had none because it was wet, and my guy did not account for me being as long as I am. So
Let me ask you about that.
I was T-Rex arming it, and my legs were up to my fucking nose, and it was a little scrunched up in there. The seat was a little small. It wasn't comfortable, but we made some comfort adjustments, and I got out there for a couple of runs. The track was kind of getting dry. We're starting to get a little more confidence in it, but I needed seat time. I needed to be in a pack with people, and that the last run, the guy who put together the car, his name is Kenner. He was kind of doing a little bit of leading, and I was following him, and I needed that a lot because I needed to get back in the rhythm. I needed to find my reference points. I needed to kind of get back into that zone of driving at that track because I hadn't been there since last July, but once. So it had been like literally in the last year I had only gone one time. So I needed to get some confidence back up in the track in general, and the go-kart was new, and it was really tough. I got a lot of work to do. I was falling out of that fucking seat. I was wore out. I was slap wore out. COVID.
Yeah.
I was all bent out of shape, but we broke some stuff. It is what it is. I'd rather break stuff on a test day than break it on the race day, and that was why that test day, even though it was only a few runs, was a success. I think when we come around to next week, hopefully it's dry. Hopefully it's a little more comfortable. Get a better sleep, and I have a little bit more confidence in the go-kart, and we can be a little more comfortable and really log some laps and get used to it because it's so much different than the last kart that I drove. Anyway, I'll update you on that.
When's the next test? This weekend?
The first race of the season's this weekend.
Oh boy.
So.
It's not a test. It's trial by fire for Davey Hazard.
I got 2 more, probably like 10-minute practice sessions before I gotta hunker down and race it.
Hey, that's more than NASCAR, so you should be well enough to do it.
Yeah.
But all right, I think we got through everything. Davey, you did a good job keeping us on track there. Not too long of an episode for as much as we talked about. We talked about a lot in this episode.
Yeah.
But where can they find out more about you?
You can find out more about me on Twitter at Davey Hazard, on Instagram at D7H5, and on Twitch at D7H5er with an ER at the end. On Twitch is where I'll be streaming that Indianapolis USORL Cup Series race that Joe talked about, him not broadcasting. I'll be streaming it from my point of view. I'll have a camera on my face. You'll be able to see it. It's very pretty. And that will be this Saturday at around 9:30, 10:30. I might start the stream early to have some pre-race vibes with some music and set up building and practice and whatnot. So,
Ivan, you can again all his links down in the description because I would put links in the description because that's what we do. Another way, if you want to find more driver streams, if maybe Davey's not your favorite driver, as we're finding out, Davey's not everyone's favorite driver for some reason, even though I
couldn't believe it.
Outspoken.
Couldn't believe it.
You know who you are. Make sure you follow JTN on Twitter. That's, again, linked below. We always try to, when we're not streaming the USORL, because, we pretty much stream all their races, except for 6 or 8 or whatever it ends up being. I think it's 8. We always try to put driver stream links, because a lot of drivers stream normally, even when we're broadcasting. So if you follow us on there, you'll get all those links too. And then they're, convenient on your phone or on your computer. So you can check out my Twitter, linked below as well, JTN's Twitter, JTN's Facebook page. Again, guys, hit the like button, subscribe. That is the best way to help us. If you want to buy some dank Fake Racers podcast merch, he just did an eye roll in his head. You can go to the JTN merch store. That's also linked below. It's called Spring now, I guess. Is not Teespring, it's Spring, Davey, because we're things are confusing apparently. Gotta remember. But hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. You're psyched for the best season ever in NASCAR. Going road course racing week 2, so we got 2 wild cards, 1-2 on the schedule, and We will see you guys next time. Bristol's ready to go to bed. I'm ready to go to bed. See ya.
Good night, boys.